configured bass, you have the function, but you also have the inversion spelled out. And that was used to tell the organist how to actually voice that chord. So it depends, again, how deep do you want to go with it. But in terms of functionality, you don't really need to put that 3 underneath.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, musically, I don't think we have anything else to say about this, because this was fun.
It's rad.
So our final submission comes from Tom Avard, and he has submitted a funk composition entitled Heist.
First of all, I really like the video production right off the bat. I know we're talking about music here, but this is a great video. It's really cool. It's well oriented on the screen. I like the color grading. I like the title up front. It feels like a real music video.
Production quality definitely goes a long way, so off to a good start. Let's listen to more. This G natural I would question. It sounds cool. There's like kind of this back and forth between the Moog and the electric guitar, but this G natural and this descending line clashes with the G flat of the keyboards. So you get a nice spicy F, G flat in the keyboards, then a G natural in the Moog and the electric guitar, and then also an A flat. So you get like a quadruple like cluster between everything. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm curious about it. If you want to lean into that sort of dissonance a little bit more later on, that would be fantastic. But so far, I don't think that's the vibe that you're going for.
Yeah, I think it actually detracts a little bit from the vibe, because the effect that I think you're intending here is to add something to fill the space, which is good. I think that's appropriate. It's sort of a little bit of a counterline to the melody. So it is filling the space, but it's also drawing your ear too much to that element and not keeping you focused, or the listener focused, on the actual melody.
I agree. Let's check out some more.
Nice harmony here. Melody works really well too. I think a little bit of variation in that melody line could add a lot. It doesn't need to be any more than maybe 1 note difference on one of those repetitions.
Yeah.
But it's just like one too many times we've heard that 4-note phrase. It doesn't have to be a big change at all. Just tiniest repetition can go, or a variation can go a really long way.
And also, I would question the dropping out of the electric guitar. For some reason, you have this nice texture between flute, Moog, and electric guitar, and then all of a sudden, no electric guitar anymore. It doesn't seem like there's a real need to drop the electric guitar out. It almost sounds like they just forgot to play the melody that they were supposed to be playing. So just consider that. Let's listen to more.
Something that can help when you're transitioning from an almost rubato section to one that is a real substantial groove is for everyone in the band to be hearing that groove before it actually hits. And then you're gonna have a much easier time locking in, because it takes about 3 or 4, maybe 5 measures before people are really locked into the same pulse, the same grid. So if you're able to somehow, and this might just go with experience and rehearsing the tune, ad nauseum, to the point where you're all very certain about what that tempo is. And then once you actually go to that groove, make it a priority to lock in. Like, where everybody's looking at the notes and playing the chords, but if everybody's also taking a big part of their musical brain to focus on, okay, am I locked in? Then that intention will just get you locked in quicker, and that'll help a lot.
Yeah, I also think that for this like piano groove, exaggerating the difference between the accented notes and the non-accented notes will really lock that in.
It'll also make it more interesting to listen to.
Yeah, for sure. Let's listen more.
performance, it can really help to exaggerate the short notes, exaggerate the long notes, so you have a real contrast between those two. That's going to make the whole thing just feel funkier. Because right now, the short notes don't have as much bite as they could. It doesn't pack as much punch as it could. It's sort of like a dead fish handshake. You know the dead fish handshake?
No. Oh,
just go like
that felt bad.
Not quite as bad in this music, but it could certainly be a firmer handshake, firmer musical handshake.
You want this. You want this. Yeah. I also think that counterline in the tenor, it almost feels like it should be in on a bari sax, like down an octave.
Oh, that could be cool. Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. I mean, as it is, it's kind of almost like an imitation of a bari sax, so just an idea. Next time, hire a bari sax player.
Or again, if you want to get as close to it as possible, just you gotta pack that punch.
Yeah, for sure.
Articulation and a tightness and a real exaggeration of the shortness of those staccato notes will help a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. All right, let's listen to your grand Moog solo. It's Moog, right? Not Moog.
No, Bob Moog.
Moog. Okay, I just want to make sure because they're gonna make fun of me otherwise. I'm gonna pause you. It's kind of interesting that you wrote out the solo. I mean, most of the time in the style, you're going to actually improvise it, even if you have a general idea of it. I would try and maybe stray away from the straight pentatonic idea, because a lot of this piece of music is very pentatonic so far. You do have this nice chromatic line halfway through, but maybe even just throwing in a natural 2 from the key here or there will definitely add another color. And I think by this point it's fairly needed in the piece.
Similar comment to what I said before, the performance of this could be enhanced with more emphasis on the phrasing, the short notes, the tightness of it. Right now it sounds a little bit like, your horn's buried in the music, you're very focused on the reading. There's something to be said for memorizing the music, even just a section of it, to get your ears to open up a little bit more. You can focus more on the actual phrasing versus the notes themselves. It can be very helpful.